Hey, what's up, my winning score crew? How you doing? Welcome back to another episode of the Winning Score. And today it's an interesting day. I'm literally recording this as outside we're in the middle of a solar eclipse. I don't know if that means anything for sports card investing, but I will tell you it's kind of dark for the middle of the day. It's pretty interesting, I gotta say, and doesn't come around that often. So hopefully you'll get a chance to see it. Today we're going to be talking about something that I thought was really interesting about the hobby, no pun intended, was the documentary, The Hobby. I don't know if you've had a chance to check it out. If you haven't, you can find it in a couple different places online. I highly recommend it. They did a really nice job overall with this video, kind of walking through the evolution of the last few years of what has happened in the hobby and a little bit about how it was transformational, particularly through COVID. And so the first thing we're going to kind of talk about is the transformation that the sports card hobby has gone through from a hobby to this thriving industry, and the amount of money, for lack of a better term, that is starting to gravitate towards this industry and what that means going forward. And they did a really nice job with the characters portraying some of the characters that had got involved in this industry before COVID and where they are now, kind of like the journey during that period of time and the evolution of the money flow that came into the industry. Now, that ties in with the mindset that's going on out there today, that many people are coming into the hobby as an investment. They're coming in as, sports cards are an investment or an alternative investment to some other things. And I gotta say that I agree. I never thought it would come to this, honestly, when I started collecting my cards 35 years ago or whatever it was and sticking them in our bicycle tires, that some of these cards would become worth what they are today. But they truly have become somewhat of an alternative asset, right? Just like gold, like silver, stocks, bonds, other collectibles, things like that, art, sports cards. And I look at sports cards a lot as an art form, meaning that I really enjoy making art or looking at the art of sports cards. I do a lot of sets and things like that where I try to complete sets. I've done the Project 20 set, framed it, put it in a nice frame. It's on my wall. I'll show you a picture of it here. It's really cool. And some other things around the art of the hobby. Now, this is completely different from what this movie was going through. It was very focused on really the money. This is really an industry where it's evolved in a few years, not even a few years. It started before the pandemic. It just really got ramped up by the pandemic. And that's really the crux of what exploded this market in the short run, where a lot of people came into the hobby that were once in it before, and now they're back in it again. I see this a lot out at the card shows and such. Now, what it focuses on is the industry's growth and the introduction of some major, we'll call them corporations for lack of a better term, into this hobby. And we're speaking here highly of organizations like eBay, more about Fanatics and Fanatics' growth and their acquisitions and their compelling story to become a dominant player in the sports card industry. And it flows through this, talking about and showing some individual people and their journey along the way, and comes to how these large organizations are impacting the industry. And really the big thing is, where is the industry going next? And it showcases that it's a very diverse community. There's a lot of different kinds of cards out there today that people are collecting, not just sports cards. I collect other cards as well, as many people know who follow me. And it kind of culminates the end with, I won't say a positive attitude of where things are going, but an optimistic attitude, or I should say a cautiously optimistic attitude of where the industry is headed next. I believe this. I'm cautiously optimistic as well, in that I really feel like the industry had a large influx of attention, and now what comes next, right? And that's really what we're talking about. So I highly recommend, if you have not seen this documentary, if you have to pay for it on somewhere, if you're a sports card collector or any kind of a collector for that matter, it's really worth watching this documentary. It has a lot of good points and a lot of great information, and it's told in a really nice evolutionary story that I think everybody can relate to. So please go check it out, The Hobby. Catch you on the next episode of The Winning Score.